And we're back. Game number 2 of our leadoff best of 5 of the day. It's going to be Team Tinker taking on Alliance, now trailing 1-0 as Alliance able to get past them in game 1, really in pretty dominant fashion, if we're honest. The last couple of times these teams met up until today, it's been pretty much Team Tinker's, game. They've looked really, really good, but Alliance returning to form, really just managing the map well. Decision-making was on point, but more than anything, I don't feel like Tinker played bad in game 1 necessarily. I really just feel like Alliance outdrafted them, and then they just executed at a slightly higher level.
Yeah, I would definitely agree about the drafting part, and it's actually kind of ironic because they're picking the same things. Now that we're talking about that they had a better draft, and they pick up Razor Batrider again, but I don't think that was the portion of the draft that was so detrimental to them. I think it was the latter portion with the Troll and just how the Troll didn't synergize at all with any kind of right clickers or heroes that did Roshan or pushed, and I think that's ultimately what happened, and they felt the repercussions of that. But they started off again with the Razor and Batrider. Okay, it's not terrible. I mean, those are both fantastic heroes. But Brewmaster and Skywrath here coming out for Alliance. Brewmaster is, in my opinion, I actually rate Brewmaster like higher than any other hero. I think he's so freaking good right now. Until he gets changed or nerfed or whatever, I think he's so hard to deal with. The main reason is that obviously his ulti's so strong, but you can't ever actually really shut him down in lane. Razor can actually do not too bad, but even then, it's so hard to do damage to him with the evasion. It's easy for him to get CS with just using the Thunderclap if he needs to. And unless you have heroes that can massively burst him down, he's just going to have a field day.
Yeah, I mean, we see it time and time again. Like you said, plenty of good reasons to believe Brew is as top tier as it gets. His ability to have an impact on the game very early on is just through the roof. And he forces you to commit a ton to him. And the worst of the worst is whenever you commit all that to him and he survives the 100 HP just in time to get the split off. And he can, starting at level 6, he can dive towers, so he fits in the push lineups who just want to have initiation, who make it, a lineup like that can make it feel like it's impossible to come and defend your towers. It helps to have a Bat and Razor, of course. Game 1, we saw the Razor skip the mechanism. I wonder if they're going to make that mistake again. That's an item that really would have come in handy, but I think here in game 2, Tinker's probably just going to go with something very similar and just replace the Troll with something a little bit more viable, something that is going to be able to have a bit more of an impact if things don't go perfectly. On the side of Alliance, though, they grab the Rubik up in that 3rd position, and Rubik, honestly, is as undervalued a support as I think there is in the meta right now. I mean, he still gets picked, but you see Skywrath Mage, very, very consistent first couple of picks, first couple of bans, etc. Rubik and his ability to run aggressive or to be defensive, he's great at both, really makes him just an all-around great pickup against pretty much any team composition.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of Rubik, too, and there's this negative stigma about him that, oh, he's a support hero that doesn't do any damage, and I actually kind of disagree with that. I think his Fade Bolt doesn't do terrible damage. It's level 4, it's 280. Compare that to a clap from Brewmaster, which is 300. So it's it's not that bad of damage. I mean, that's his only damage spell per se, but it's still not that bad. It also bounces to a lot of things. It reduces the attack damage. It also pulls creeps off of towers if you need to TP to the opposite tower and try to defend the push from that. Relatively low cooldown. And also, people don't think telekinesis does any damage, which it doesn't, but the amount of damage you can output by just attacking, lifting, bringing them back, and then attacking with other people nearby in your tri-lane it goes overlooked, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't do any damage per se, but it helps you. It gives you the ability to do more damage through auto attacks, and I think that is definitely overlooked. Not to mention just Rubik is, if you have good spells for him to steal, which it seems like almost. It's hard to think of a game where it's like, oh no, Rubik can't steal any spells and be effective. It's hard to actually find those games where stealing spells is not really going to work out. The one thing I will say though about Rubik is you have to be a little careful playing against Razor because you have 3 spells literally that are targetable. And Razor will love that. His Insable Current is very, very good against single target, specifically support heroes that don't have much HP.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Coming out with the Vengeful Spirit pickup now for Tinker, it's an interesting pick. Venge is 99 times out of 100, one of those heroes you can save for last if there are things you want to prioritize above it. It's not that she's bad. She just, doesn't get that much attention. She's situational in terms of what you want to do. And now the Pugna, who is kind of in the same boat. I actually really like the Pugna pick quite a bit against the Skywrath and against the Rubik, but whenever you see a Razor, a Venge, and a Pugna, this is going to be a very push-oriented lineup, very much an early fighting lineup. Again, don't expect Razor to skip Mechanism this time around. And if Bat can get a quick blink, and we know how fast a Bat Rider can disappear into a jungle and emerge with a Blink Dagger, they're going to be able to put the screws to Alliance a bit.
Yeah, there's just a lot of good team fighters out from Alliance, though. Like, especially with Naga now, and they already have their cores picked up being Pugna, Bat, and Razor. So, I mean, you use the word thin a lot, and I would definitely apply that to this lineup so far because they only have one more hero that they can pick, and it has to be, I would imagine, support. Like, they're not going to run support Pugna. That just seems awful. I mean, maybe they could. I don't know. I've seen crazy things, but it has to be like I would think a tanky support that can be in the front lines. But I mean, they have one more pick. How are you going to deal with Naga, split push, Brewmaster just jumping in and ulting you and like they have to burst down the Brewmaster before he ulties, but can you really do that between the heroes? I mean, Bat Rider can pull him in if he gets a fast blink, but I don't know. It's all very situational to me, and so like I would say thin is a perfect word to describe Team Marino Tinkerino's lineup thus far.
Yeah, I feel like they need some more lockdown. I mean, they've got Lasso, and that's wonderful, and they've got Magic Missile, which is pretty solid, but I mean, other than that, I feel like they need some kind of AoE. They've got damage, they've got the defensive capability that a Pugna gives you, they've got the ability to take the fight early. I just, like you were saying, a frontliner, someone who is going to give them a little bit more initiation than just the Lasso can. I mean, Vengeful with her swap is nice, and so on and so on and so on. But I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
The way I look at it is I'm looking at this Alliance lineup and I'm seeing they got a giant Brewmaster problem. Like, how are they going to deal with Brewmaster once they get a blink? I just don't know. Pugna, like, he's good. He can sit in the back with another ward, and if he gets a super fast mech, they can maybe just, death ball on push. But if Brewmaster gets a timely blink, which it seems like almost every Brewmaster does, when he blinks in and claps and uses that split, I feel like there's just no answer from Team Marino Tinkerino.
Well, we're still waiting to see. They got a few more seconds left at the very least, about 20, give or take. But I really like the addition of the Elder Titan. Elder Titan, one of those heroes that if he's run well, he's as devastating a team fighter as anyone, if for no other reason than Natural Order. Natural Order is just an unbelievable pain to deal with, and it is going to be Jakiro. Okay, so that kind of works on both of what both of us were saying. Jakiro, one of the highest strength gains of a support in the entire game, so he's certainly going to be a guy who can survive fights. He gives you decent initiation. If he gets a Yules up in particular, being able to Yules a target and bring them down into an ice path gives them more damage and so on. And it also adds to their push, which I like a lot. I feel like with that front four, like you were saying, kind of thin feeling in terms of their ability to just run 5-on, head-on into targets. Instead, with the Pugna and Jakiro, they're just going to be able to melt towers between Liquid Fire and Nether Blast. Yeah,
Jakiro is actually a very good pick here to round things out. I'm still not sold on their lineup, but if there was a last pick hero that would put things in the right direction for them, I would say Jakiro is it. He's a tanky support hero. He has a lot of HP, and he can push down towers safely because like you just apply the Liquid Fire and you can back away. It's not like you have to stay there and keep attacking. It just does the damage for you. So I imagine, as we have a disconnect here, I imagine they will do a safe lane, tri-lane with the Pugna. They could go aggressive too. There's a chance they could go aggressive, but most likely safe lane, tri-lane, bat off lane. Is Koikfa, I'm assuming, explain it? Yeah. And then Pike at mid with the Razor. So, like I mentioned, Razor is a pretty decent hero to go against the Brew. I have seen, like, because you suck out all of his damage, and he basically has just the clap to use for CS. But we'll have to see if there's some kind of roam coming out as well from these supports, because one of the other great things, as we've talked a lot about Rubik, is that his telekinesis is an instant stun. Like, it doesn't stun you per se, but it casts. The cast point is instant. It's not like a magic missile where you see the projectile and you have chances to dodge it or whatever. It's an instant cast stun, and, or lift or whatever you want to call it. And it's very, very easy to actually gank mid if you get some kind of smoke and little bit of extra movement speed there. So we'll have to see if any kind of roaming comes out from this duo.
Yeah, I really like, I mean, something I say, and to be honest, sometimes I don't articulate it quite as well as I could, is there are certain heroes that, say you put them mid, and assuming you're going to have two supports that want to rotate for a smoke gank or something, there are some heroes who just work better as that mid in terms of heroes that can set up a gank coming from another lane. Naga Siren I always put near the top of that list just because she has net. It will be low on the Noggin. It looks like he's heading down to bottom, at least for the moment. But yeah, whenever you have the strength of a Skywrath with his slow, of a Rubik with telekinesis, and it doesn't matter if it's a Brew, it doesn't matter if it's a Naga, both are phenomenal at leading off on these ganks, being able to clap and slow, and of course the damage involved, or just ensnare just as your supports are arriving from elsewhere. So that mid lane is definitely going to be volatile and is as hard to track down as a Razor can feel at some stages of the game. You know, once he gets a few levels under his belt, levels 1 through 6, he's actually a fairly easy target to gank if you're coordinated enough, if you time it well enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're smoking the right angles. He did buy boots first, so if they don't smoke at the right angles and he pops it with proper visioning on the hills, and he can avoid those ganks. But we'll have to wait and see. Quakefoot did get this ward off down here before they were able to spot it, so he's going to have some decent vision to work with, so that's really good for him. He rushed down there, and he's back in time to block the wave. Same thing with Elo Titan. He didn't get a ward in the trees there in the woods, but he is back in time to get a good block. So, yep, we'll have to wait and see. And it is an Invis actually picked up here by Misery, making his way towards the mid lane. As this was not spotted because this ward that Quakefoot placed is just a little bit too far out of range.
Well, this is exactly what we were talking about. Using that invis, this could be trouble for Pycat. Does have the brown boots, as you said. And they just got to wait on Chessie to come forward on the Brew. Hasn't put a skill point in quite yet. And just being patient. They've got the Skywrath Mage sitting. There's the telekinesis. Chessie's okay. That's why Chessie didn't come. Okay. I was going to say he's going to be a little late to try to get there, but Pycat very quick to react. The concussive shell's already on the way, but sadly, that disconnect going to cost them what could have been a first blood.
Oh, definitely. Like if he just starts walking up and then you get the lift, it's 100% first blood, because the slow is 25% plus all the auto attacks plus the slow from concussive, which is it's 40%. Yeah, he's 100% dead if he doesn't DC. That's very annoying and very unfortunate, as they did have a nice Invis rune RNG proccing for them. But life goes on. It sucks, but it happens every once in a while.
Yeah, free one given away. Just consider it good play by Pycat, I guess. And here we can see Misery's even still continuing to try to body block, and Pycat will be able to scurry away. I mean, he made it away with half health, so even if Chessie had been there, who knows? Maybe still with those early boots might have been able to make it away. Down here, Loda's going to be going one-on-one against the Bat, and we can see just how much damage he does. I mean, you have to worry about stacks of sticky napalm on a melee hero like this, but he's going to have Riptide to use to last hit if he really gets in trouble. And for now, he should be able to handle himself quite well. Atop, we're going to have Bulba and Sing Sing trying to zone out Admiral Bulldog. Bulldog's already level 2, though, and this creep wave is already pushed pretty far forward.
Yeah, he is already level 2, so I mean, the creeps are going to push up once. If he can somehow get to the side and pull this right now, Bulba's sitting right here, though. He knows that that's what he wants to do, though, and he's not allowing him to do that. So, but like you mentioned, he is level 2. I'm not sure what EGM is doing. He hasn't. I mean, he suspected perhaps a gank mid and wanted to provide a little bit of. Honestly, at this point, it just looks like moral support because he hasn't really done anything. But yeah, I'm very. He just popped a Clarity at full mana so he could give himself sentries. Why didn't he just put the Clarity on the chicken? What the hell?
Yeah, that's a little odd.
I would personally keep the Clarity because one of the problems of Avenge early on is mana problems. You need multiple Clarities to cast multiple stuns, so that's very weird. I don't know why he just put the Clarity on the Courier. Oh well.
Bulldog rotating down, and the rune does spawn bottom instead of top. Misery's going to get his hands on a double damage rune, denying it at least from Quakefoot. Actually, he's going to babysit it and allow Chessie to come on down. Taking a look at the early CS totals, we can see Pugnet at 9 leading the way. It's going to be 7 for Lotus Naga Siren, 7 for the Razor now, and Bruce sitting at 6, so basically a wash there in mid. This bottom lane heavily in favor of Loda right now, though.
Oh yeah, of course, and he will, I'm sure, love that. As we don't get to see, like, we don't see farming Nagas that often. Oh, he misses the CS right there, unfortunately, but We don't get to see farming Nagas all that too much, but honestly, I don't know why. It's so good. You secure a Radiance, if you secure all this farm onto a Naga, like very few heroes can actually deal with a very fed Naga that has a Radiance in a relatively early time, and they are running Naga on Radiant, which I do believe is much better than Dire. Just being able to access your neutrals is a little bit easier and a little bit more favorsome on the Radiant side. Not to mention just the laning phase in general is, I think, a little bit more favorable to the Radiant. Obviously, you have the Dire to work with, but you don't really, if you are on Dire, but you can also contest Dire doing Roshan if you are on Radiant with a Naga, because Sleep is so effective in doing so. So, I think when this game gets to the mid-game, especially when you get a Radiance on Naga, like their team fight's so strong on Alliance with the Brew and the Elder Titan, who is getting... Well, he's actually getting shut down now. They're doing a lot better job of pulling and keeping him at bay, so he was too early on, but kind of stalling at the moment.
Yep, coming up on 3. Level 4 for Sing Sing, just hit it. Bulba's actually at level 2 as well, so he and the Elder Titan roughly in the same boat, which isn't bad, because it's mostly been a duo lane, as you said. Quakeva obviously was in bottom lane. EGM did find level 2 at some point, and is still just hanging about, ready to bail out Pycat if worse comes to worse. Key, in the meantime, once again standing in for Ake, has gone to work now, stacking in the jungle a bit. A little bit of a convergence here in mid. Chessie just level 4. There's a missile up to the high ground, but EGM can do nothing but drop himself a sentry. Pycat quite safe, and Chessie happy to go ahead and take some CS with that clap. Gonna work his way down to that regen rune. So rune control definitely in favor of Chessie, and he's really off to a decent start. I mean, he's up against the Razor going 17 for 14.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Razor should be doing a bit better in this matchup. I know he did get that pressure early on, but I actually watched at the beginning, and Chessie missed a CS or two, just trying... Oh, I think it's probably because he was DC'd, honestly, but... yeah, he's doing very well for himself, and that's just what I'm talking about, man. Like, Brew, it's very hard...
EGM spotted by Bulldog. He came without a smoke. He had a smoke on him, did not smoke to try to do a wraparound gank, and he's just going to run up under the tower now. There's a TP coming in, but Misery's there already. That's going to be Key coming in, and that's first blood as Key lands and takes first blood. It's a little bit odd. He walked across the river right by the rune spot. They had a ward up in position. He had a smoke in his inventory, but did not smoke, so Bulldog saw it all the way, just came over and started smacking him in the face.
Yeah, interesting, and maybe he just suspected there was no ward. And speaking of smoke, there's actually smoke coming from Key and Misery right now to the mid lane. And if Pycat doesn't back out right now, he's dead. There's no way he's getting out of this. Couple auto attacks, super slowed.
Clap there to follow it. And just like that, what was a quiet game becomes a 2-0 lead for Alliance, dropping a Venge for first blood and then picking off the Razor, and this is deja vu all over again. Granted, it's a long and drawn-out process, but just being able to take Razor off the map in these early stages really makes all the difference in terms of his development, how naturally he tanks up, and of course his item progression.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm wondering again if he will go for the mech. I think Pugna should get it actually, because he's in the primary farming role. He already has his mana boots. So that just seems to be the go-to item for Pugna, but yeah, I don't know. Razor obviously not having the best time, and God, Panda's up to 27 CS, so if he decides to rush the Blink and not get his upgraded boots, he's going to have it around the 8-9 minute mark, and that's really good for this team, especially when they're creating so much space for Naga, who's just in the safe lane. Free farming away as the net comes out actually onto EGM. Do they have the damage?
Oh, they got it with Chessie.
Oh, wow.
Chessie shows up glowing blue and stuff. Hits the clap and one big swipe with the big old stick. That makes it 3-0 now. Sing Sing is farming well on the Pugna, 44 CS. He's tops of the board. About 25% ahead of Lotus total, give or take. But I don't know, like, they're pushing this tower. This is where that push power is going to come in, and we see one value point into Dual Breath, one into Ice Path. It'll probably be maxing out Liquid Fire after this, but there's that first tier 1 down. Pycat being chased by Chessie. Chessie, Courier took a bit of damage there, got a little too far out, but looks like Alliance not willing to give up too much right now.
That was actually really close to being in deny on that top tier 1. Sing Sing uses the Nether Blast, which should be a secured tower kill, or tower last hit I should say, but there was actually a tiny little point of damage right after he used it that it could have been denied, but thank God for their sake it didn't, as that's really bad. Tower denies early on are very bad. You want to do everything you can to not put a tower in deny if you don't have the means to take it out yourself. As there's some action I see in the corner of my eye in mid.
Yep, Pycat. Split upon. There's the rock. He has the storm aspect if he needs it. Not going to use it now. Pycat does have wand charges. Helps on the way. We'll go ahead and use them. Using the plasma field, they're going to clean him up. And now Jakiro tossed him in the air by the storm aspect. Looks like he wanted to try to chase off Misery, but now might end up dead. There's a dual breath. Chessie doesn't have enough for Clap. If he had Clap, he could have made it happen. Chessie trying to make a run. Bulba. Ooh, barely makes it away. Had about 32 HP. Misery using his own wand charges. 4 stacks of sticky napalm and 1 auto attack enough to get a return kill. Not the best trade in the world, but better than no trade at all as they lose the Razor, but take down the Rubik.
Nicely played by Bulba. Good rotation, and he's now got level 5 under his belt, so level 3 Liquid Fire is definitely going to do more damage to towers. There is some tower pushing actually coming in line from Alliance, as it's quickly stifled here from Pycat, who TP's down. Puts the suck onto Loda. I need to come up with better words for that. Maybe the actual ones, like Static Link.
Yeah, no, that's no, what's the fun in that? But I use the word, I call it leash all the time, because that's just how
leash?
It feels to me. Yeah, it's like, because it's always somebody running away from a Razor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who's got the leash on him.
There you go.
But anyway, in mid we can see Bulldog warding off the push, even though he had some low health. The ward went down. He used his Earth Split to, Earth Splitter to push them back. It's 4-1. Much more quiet game comparatively. 9 minutes in. Let's take a look at the goal graph. Yeah, I was thinking probably about even the experience is fairly negligible now as well. Who do you feel like the laning phase has favored in terms of just development towards the mid game as of right now?
Oh, well, definitely Alliance, because they haven't taken considerable losses. They've lost the tier 1 tower top, but that's not that important. It's probably the least important of the towers. You have a Blink Dagger now up onto the Brew. He doesn't have his ult yet for another 20 seconds. In fact, he's hiding. He's deliberately hiding his Blink. He doesn't want to show it right now until he does have the ult available and ready to use. So this is pretty smart.
Key in trouble at bottom. Caught with that lasso as Bad Rider reveals the Blink of his own. And that's a free one for him. EGM catching up on levels as best he can up at top. Did manage to finish and earn.
Look at this. He doesn't have it. He gets his Blink. He immediately ferries it to himself and when he has the ult up ready to go. He actually doesn't even need the ult, but that was a really nice play by Chessie. I have to say, as Sing Sing is trying to live right now. So yeah, as there's a TP. So he was holding the Blink, waiting for the perfect time for his ult, and then actually Pycat maybe feeding off another one.
Yep, split, and yeah, Pycat's just gonna die under his own tower again. Reactions coming in, but I don't know that it matters. Loda's there. Loda has Song if he needs it, so they can play very aggressive and still have an exit strategy. EGM blown to pieces as Bulldog swings the big fist and puts him on his back. That's a 3-0, including another death on Pycat. That takes Pycat now to every bit of 1-3, so a very, very tough start for him. And the net worth going heavily in favor of Alliance. It's the Brew and the Naga Siren who top out the charts.
Yeah, I actually really love seeing plays like that. You don't see too many of them, but when I see them, it makes me really excited. Like, you can literally just like wait for the perfect time, and they look at your inventory and they can actually see you have no Blink, and you ferry your Blink to you and Blink instantly. There's literally nothing they can do. Like they can't expect that to happen.
Right.
And so when I really love cheeky little things like that. I think it makes a big difference.
We can see the push being applied to the mid tier 1. Even though the fights have been going Alliance's way, there's still just so much push power. Another Earth Splitter thrown out and dodged by everyone, and they move right back on in. There's going to be another blast, Liquid Fire, and one more Nether Blast will do. He's going to secure it. Nope, just going to use auto attacks. They do manage to bring it down. Misery manages to steal Firefly and was in the air kicking his little magey legs, but looks like they don't want to try to re-engage. Brew's going to have this ultimate back up in about 50 seconds, though.
What is that ult cooldown? It's 140. It's 100 seconds at level 3. This hero is so damn good. As now they're pushing back in the mid, knocking at that tier 1 tower in the mid. There is a rune top. It's a regen, so I'm sure Chessie will like that. He's going to bottle up Admiral Bulldog once and then take it for himself. So yeah, even though there's 2 towers down for none, I mean, you still have a Naga farming who's up to 2,500 gold just about. So I think Alliance is perfectly fine with this. As far as item progression, Pugna is not getting a mech. He's going for a Scepter instead.
We were talking not long ago, and I'm pretty sure you told me that Pugna's Life Drain actually pops illusions, correct?
Yeah, just one, like, pew, pew, pew. One-shot solutions like mana drain, so...
Yep, that makes sense then, if he wants to go with a Scepter here. Just being able to have it off cooldown constantly, just to be able to blow up the Naga illusions, that makes a ton of sense. I still feel like they need a mech, and it's not going to be Razor building it for the second game in a row. EGM caught from behind in misery. In the air, manages to steal Plasma Field while he's about it, still chasing him around Harry Potter style, and still cleans him up. And there's the power of that Fade Bolt as he secures that kill all on his lonesome.
Look at this. I still, every time I see his feet wiggle up in the air, it looks so funny. That's great. I love stuff like that.
I wish I could make another Harry Potter joke. I just know to call it Harry Potter. My girlfriend made me, well, I won't say made me, asked me to watch the first 2 movies. And I rather enjoyed them, but I was not, I missed the Harry Potter boat, so I don't know, like the snitch, is that what it's called, or the sniz?
I actually don't know, man. I've never... You know, it's funny, because I only I read the first book. No. I saw the first 2 movies, then I went back and read the first book. I was like, I'm going to read the rest of them. I just never got around to it.
I was going to say he's got a snook in the sniz, but that's South Park.
Okay, there you go.
But anyway, another tier 1 going to drop. Oh, hang on. Cheeky little glyph. They're not going to defend it. So just giving themselves more time to position in the Radiant jungle, hoping they can get some use out of these aggressive wards. They've had these 2 down now for a little while, and this one actually just went down. They're going to spot someone soon enough, as everyone seems to be moving this direction. Just a question of if Alliance can catch them in a situation where they actually want to engage. Chessie they're going to see farming, and they're going to go ahead and back out. Probably the right call given how low Koikva is at the moment. And there's the Haste Rune bottled up. Nope, they're going to smoke. So it's going to be Koikva leading with that Haste Rune, looking for a target. Chessie going to be the one. Chessie does have his ulti, though. They're going to blow him up quick. Ice Path follows and got him right in the middle of his animation. That's how you got to do it. Otherwise, you pay for it dearly. If they hadn't whiffed on that and he had survived and gotten that off, Rubik would have been there, would have been more TPs. As it stands, they get a great kill on the Brewmaster and now ready to go to work on this tier 2 bottom. Koikva still has that Haste Rune out. Sing Sing, though, is very low health. So they got to be careful here. There goes the ward. And it doesn't look like they're all that concerned with so much defending it as they are delaying it. They made, oh wow, they got Koikva down from the high ground. There's the power of that telekinesis. Ice Path caught a couple. But with Koikva down, Sing Sing's very low in health. They will use the glyph, and now here comes the TP, and this is going to be the Brew. Ready to blink and look for a target. Sing Sing TPs in the shadow of that tree. EGM hiding effectively as well. So the tower... not in deny range yet. 12 HP off of it.
Yep, and the Relic in the meantime, I mean, this is also just space for Loda. He's got his Relic, and he'll have his Radiance, about 900 gold, so I think Alliance is perfectly fine with this. I don't think it's that big of a deal. They also lost the Bat Rider in the process, and they have the Brew Split ready to go if they want to take a fight now, so that'll be very, very good for them. Koikva, he has very good farm right now, honestly. Blink with the Force Staff sub 16 minutes, that's pretty damn good. So Koikva doing very, very well for himself, considering he had a pretty tough lane to go up against. He did have some very, very good stacking. I didn't mention how EGM was popping Clarities full mana, but he was also stacking the jungle fully for this Bat Rider, so that's why this Bat was able to have such a good time.
Chessie, who didn't get his ult up before, still has it off cooldown, obviously, and they're going to smoke. That's going to be Koikva right next to them. And they got it. Nope. No! Boo! Force Staff. Barely gets him away as he makes it away. I thought the silence was going to be there to follow, but just couldn't quite get in range. There is a DD down there, so that's the second time that's happened. Koikva just ruining a smoke attempt out of Alliance.
Yeah, he is a very fast Twitch player. Like, he clicks very quickly. I'm sure he has very high APM. Because a lot of players would have just not got that in time, but his reactions were fast enough. So, very, very nice play from Koikva dodging that bullet there.
Well, taking a look at Sing Sing, he has his Scepter done. If he wants to go ahead and buy it, he's got the 1,000 gold for the Blade of Alacrity. And Scepter on Pugna really is quite strong, but once again, lacking a mechanism, unless it's been built under subterfuge. Nope, not going to be coming out at all. At 17 minutes, no one has started it. So how do you feel about that? I mean, I'm okay with Scepter on the Pugna, especially given what you had mentioned to me before about the ulti popping illusions very, very quickly. But I still feel like they really need something that will just allow them to stand up and fight against this Alliance squad, who for the most part is roaming as 4.
Yeah, I mean, it is a nice tool, but I, I don't know. I think, again, just from a drafting standpoint, there's a huge error here in how do you deal with a Naga, like late game, and especially how do you deal with the Brewmaster split. If he gets the split off, you lose. So what do? You have to kill him beforehand, but they need to do more of that. Like that pickoff that they had in their jungle where they got him before the split. That's what they need to do. They need to do more of that so that they can get their heroes to the point where they have so much more farm than the enemy that these spells don't really matter so much anymore. But I'm not so sure if that point is ever going to come. Like I don't think Razor will ever get to that point. He's going to out farm or have more impact in the team fight than a Naga with Radiance, like it's very hard to really make that distinction. I do really like the Jakiro pickup also for continuing to lock down the Panda once you catch him with the Batrider ulti, but the question is whether you're going to have enough damage every single time to do that.
Right. No, I completely agree with you. Chessie takes himself another tower. He's had more double damage runes this game than I think I've seen ever. That's got to be like, what, his fourth one? Something like that?
Yeah.
He just every time I look at him, he seems to have it when he's pushing a tower going into a team fight. But yeah, just compare Razor's item progression. Treads, Wand, he does have a point booster up, which is nice on his way to a Scepter. He's almost got halfway to a Scepter, so it's not as bad as I thought it was. But still, Treads, Wand, and Drums, and then you go and check Naga Siren, who's got Aqualay, still sitting on brown boots, but Bottle, and then a big, bad Radiance. For the Brewmaster, he's almost got his Scepter done, also has a Blink, as well as brown boots, Bottle, and Wand. He just is not where he needs to be, and he's not a hero that flash farms all that well. He can do well with Plasma Field to deal with stacked camps, but he's certainly not going to keep up with a Radiance Naga. In the meantime, Bulba could be in trouble. And, yep, that's a dead THD. See you later, Bulba. See you in about 28.
Yep, he just melted there to all that magic damage plus the natural order. And speaking of Elder Titan, my god, he's got Tranquils, Soul Ring, and a Veil at sub 20 minutes with 1,200 gold to boot. So normally this hero just isn't picked because he just does so crappy in the offlane, wherever you lane him. But he didn't have like that good of a time, but he didn't have that bad of a time either. But he's transitioned very nicely in the mid game. So Admiral Bulldog having a hell of a series here so far.
Well, I mean, it just, don't die. Like, with an Elder Titan, it's just natural, with the power that is Astral Spirit and, of course, Natural Order. If you just don't die in these fights, you get your levels, you get max Natural Order at a decent clip. Your team is so hard to cope with because they can just burst people down so quickly. And that's exactly what he's done. He's sitting at 1-0-6 for the moment. And, that's really all it takes. Like you said, though, he is kind of doo-doo brown and in lane, so you gotta find you gotta find a place for him. Looks like this tower bottom though could be the next target. Nope, never mind. Koikva just gonna bail out. Still outside of deny range, by the way.
Oh, Pycat's in trouble. The swap actually from EGM, but they're still pursuing Pycat. In the meantime, EGM will he get away? He might. But there's the Razor. He's caught up in the tornado.
Razor still being juggled. EGM does make it away to the high ground, but as Razor comes down, they're gonna re-engage. Pycat trying to make a run for it. There's the ensnare from downtown and the follow-up. Right click. Now Bat's going to go in. He gets the lasso on the Misery, but he was already dead for the most part. Still chasing after Chessie, even as he drags that Rubik, the Earth Splitter, from Bulldog enough to maybe make them think twice. No, Koikva wants to continue up. Chessie throws out the Drunken Haze, and now Sing Sing using Decrepify. Bulldog should drop here. That'll be his first death of the game, as he has to be abandoned by Chessie, who just recognizes a lost fight. So well played there from Team Tinker. Losing Pycat, seriously not what they want, but if you're going to lose him, at least get something back for it.
Yeah, even though they lost him, the defensive swap actually still bought them more time. Like, they spent more time trying to chase, and as a result, it gave time for Team Tinker to respond. So it looked like a futile swap, but it actually indirectly helped them. So not too bad. Vengeful Spirit definitely does a lot better with a level 2 swap. The level 1 range is just ass. It's really terrible, but with another level onto it, it's actually much more effective, and you can do a lot more things. He is maxing out, and actually has not maxed it out, but is primarily putting points into the Wave of Terror. So they could have access to Roshan. Not the best Rosh lineup on Dire for the second time in a row. It's basically Wave of Terror and Liquid Fire, and that's about it. Which is still not bad, but it's not like, Alchemist and Ursa and Rasta Wards and stuff like that.
Well, the thing is, too, the way the format works with the teams is you give one team a chance to pick first pick or side. Well, pick whatever pick. And sometimes teams do pick second pick, by the way. But you say, okay, team based on our rules and the way it's arranged so far as whatever else. We did a coin flip for this game, and Alliance got to pick first. And Alliance selected first pick. And then Team Tinker took Dire. And then it was the same thing in reverse the other way in game 2. Hang on, Dream, a.k.a. Quakeba. Super dead. Oh, wow. Actually buys a little bit of time. Still going to be cleaned up. But anyway, the long and the short of it is Team Tinker, when given a choice, opted for Dire 2 games in a row and have yet to really pick a lineup that takes advantage of that.
Yeah, I would agree. And unfortunate death there for Koikfa. That was an Invis Brewmaster. That's bottom out. Oh, action actually on to the Jakiro. THD dies with some more aggression from Chesty, and this is all being done without the split expended. So, and the tower goes down as well. So nice movement here, nice pickoffs from Alliance, and they're doing this with the better late game team. So I'm sure they're very, very happy with how things have unfolded in the last few minutes.
Yeah, when you look at the graphs, it actually feels like, I mean, Team Tinker has held this within reasonable range for a while now. They're actually ahead in terms of experience. The gold has been in favor of Alliance for a bit now, but it's still very manageable, just plus 3K at 23 minutes. But the problem is, again, you've got a Naga with a Radiance who is only going to get fatter, and you're not going to stop that at this stage. She's already got Boots of Travel up even, and she might have something else on the way to her, I'm not sure. Yeah, she just finished a Yasha, so Loda getting a Yasha. And at this point, your Razor has got almost the Scepter. Like, that's just not going to be able to keep pace.
Yeah, there is a gem purchased by EGM, which is kind of interesting because he's got this random Void Stone here.
Oh, Misery spots Pycat along with Key, and down again. He doing his Harry Potter impression. That's how I always imagine Harry Potter flew. But at any rate, another nice pick, and Pycat eats it for the 5th time this game. And this is basically getting to the point that Alliance is going to be able to dictate not only the shape of the game, but the speed of it. Like, if they want to take it late, they can just fall back and dare Tinker to come at them with all these underfarmed heroes.
Yep, and as I saw there, did he sell it actually? Oh, let me check. Bat Riders. No, he didn't. Okay, so yeah, EGM bought a gem and gave it to the Bat Rider, which I find interesting because EGM has this random Void Stone. I thought, oh, he's going to get a fast Yules with it, but that's going to be stalled for the time being because he needed to buy the gem. Obviously, the gem is very good on Bat, especially. Hopefully, he does not die here because that would be very, very bad for him.
Oops,
as he blinks away just in time out of the Naga sleep, and he's trying to make a run for it. This is going to be so bad if he dies because the gem was just purchased.
He's going to take to the skies.
Oh, no.
And look at Rubik chase him. Rubik's chasing him, and they do manage to track him down right near the edge of the map. Rubik not giving up pursuit. Chased him all the way over, using Firefly as well. 15-5 as Alliance now triples the kill total of Team Tinker. And yeah, like you said, Gem down, Bat down, problems for TT across the board.
That kill was like, what, 1,500 gold worth? It was a really expensive death there from Koikfa. And they can give that gem to the Naga, who can use the illusions to counter ward as well, safely. It's one of the great things about having heroes that are illusion-based is, or even if you grab an illusion rune with the gem on you, you can get vision as well to do some de-warding. So, yeah, humongous kill right there, actually.
Right now, Tinker really only able to play pure defense. For a while there, if you paid attention to the wards, there were wards here, they had one over here at one point, and they wanted to play aggressive. But this game has gotten away from them to the point, look at their wards now, just purely defensive. Just trying to buy some time, but I don't know what for. Like, I don't know what the end game is.
I mean, there are always options when you have a Bat Rider in the game. This is why this hero has been seeing a little bit of a resurgence lately, especially in the Chinese scene. They're picking him a lot more over there, just because whenever you feel down and out, you can always count on the Bat Rider there. I was gonna make some kind of analogy to something else in real life, but yeah, whatever.
whatever, it's fine. It's like cigarettes, man. Down and out. No matter how many years you've been quit, you can always go back to
I was going to use alcohol. Like, no
Yeah.
matter how bad the situation seems, you just open up some Johnny Walker.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jim, Jack, and Jose, they don't judge, man. Them's your boys no matter what day of the week, no matter what time of night. They got your back.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah, revealing some of our vices, maybe in too public of a forum. But, yeah. We saw a narrowly avoided gank on EGM, by the way. Very, very fortunate to get away. Naga manages to finally deny that bottom tower that must have been at 170 HP for the last 15 straight minutes. Give or take, anyway. But now at top, it looks like Alliance is ready to bring the pain, as the Naga Siren can come in at any point with those boots of travel. Chessie moves in, claps the creeps, and here comes a convergence. Let's see how they want to engage this. Spotted by Bulldog, down goes the ward. Pycat there to help shoo them away. Naga is doing her thing at bottom, and even if they just fall back now, this is a ton of space and a ton of farm given to Loda.
Yeah, if you also just, whenever you see the Pugna just drop the ward, it's similar to like roster wards. If it's dropped prematurely or not at the right time, you just back away, wait for it to expire, and then fight afterwards. And it's such a huge tool that they need in these team fights, especially when they're down, that they can't afford to fight when it is down. So, you know what's actually a really fun build on Pugna is to get the refresher and cast 2 nether wards. It actually works. It's really fun.
That would be miserable.
Can you imagine playing Tinker against that? Or Skywrath in this game? Like,
oh, God.
You'll kill yourself in a second.
Yeah, I'm not proud to admit I have killed myself on a few Pugna wards in my day.
Yep.
GG.
And the worst part is you don't even get to cast a spell. It's like...
Exactly. Mystic Flare.
Kicking you when you're down.
Mystic Flare is the worst. I was playing not long ago and killed myself on a. And the thing is, you know it's there, but you still get so excited because, well, I'm so bad at Dota. I still get so excited. I'm like, it's fine, and you blow yourself up and you're dead. Anyway, speaking of dead, tier 2 about to be, as Admiral Bulldog, Chessie up front, not wanting to engage into this. Tinker going to just concede it. This leaves them with only one outer tier tower remaining. That's the tier 2 in mid. And do you think Alliance has reached the point where they're just going to 5-man down every tower on the map?
Hell, they don't even have to 5-man it. They can just 4-man look for pickoffs while Naga's doing their thing. It's very difficult to gank a Naga with illusion spreading out. It basically has to be done with a smoke on bat. Like, that's basically how they gank. And do they even have any smoke? It's hard for me to tell, actually. I think they have 1. I think I'm checking this correctly. I'm not 100% sure. You see, if I click on a hero and then... Yeah, I don't really know how to check that, actually.
They've got 1 on EGM right now.
Okay. So they have 1 available. I wonder if they have any more, but
they've got one they can buy.
Okay. Yeah, the point is that it's difficult to gank this Naga without a smoke. So, and not to mention with the gem being turned over to the side of Alliance, all the vision I'm sure will be countered here relatively soon. It's still on the Rubik. I'd still like to see that placed on the Naga, just because it makes it a lot easier to actually counter wards. But if Rubik keeps getting this Firefly though from Bat, then why not have the gem on her? Because
yeah,
going to be able to keep seeing all these wards from the high ground.
Well, for right now, both teams stalemating a bit here in mid. Can only imagine, though, the point of no return is going to be approached quickly, as Loda, now on his way to a heart, completes a Reaver, has up just the Yasha, but that, of course, can become a Manta very easily. And for the most part, Alliance is just basically walking around us 4 and just saying, yeah, we're here, avoid us. Your map is now closed to you.
Yep, this is what I'm talking about. Just running as 4, fighting when they find a proper engagement with Chessie's ult up, which is now Aghanim's powered, and just letting Loda do his thing, just farming up and doing well with it. And there's the heart recipe as well. He's gonna spawn some illusions. TP, where'd he go? Oh, he went back. Okay.
About 200 gold away, 250 gold away from finishing the heart. Our Winged brothers, the
he has it.
He just finished it. Damn.
He must have had the Vit booster ready or something.
Yep. I think now it's probably the time they can just group as 5 and just go fight. I don't think they have to wait any longer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they definitely can, but the point is also that just Team Tinker it's so hard for them to come back in this game. Again, it has to be on the shoulders of Koikfa. Like this hero is so good at this, but it's a tall order. It's definitely a very tall order.
We got 3 hemmed up and they all around. Someone will get that reference. Got my homie hemmed up and they all around. Pycat, not quite caught. And they do manage to make it away. This feels like a bit more of a busy game than it's been, at least according to kill-wise. You know, 15-5, only 20 kills in a 32-minute game. But taking a look at the graph for the first time in a while, that gold lead is getting quite large for Alliance. Now up into the 5 digits, 10,000, 11,000-ish.
Yep, and that's, I think, simply to be expected. And Alliance have really no problem waiting this out and playing this passively and patiently. They have nothing to lose. Oh, Misery gets caught out.
Yep, Misery engaged upon and brought down. There's an ice path after the Yules and a lockdown Bulldog. Sing Sing with the BKB now active. Force-stab bullet gets Bulldog back up. There's the Song of the Siren from Loda. Has to get away from the life drain. Buyback on Misery. Let's see if they want to try to make anything happen. Chessie was trying to flank around. Has his ulti at the ready as well as the BKB. But looks like they're going to take a shot at Roshan. Looks like that's going to be the plan. So we're all hovering about.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to do it. It is actually still hard to do it because the Song of the Siren is now level 3. Which means even though Loda just used it in mid, it's up in 27 seconds or so. So it's really good for him. They did lose the gem again. Rubik was holding it, and it now goes to the... who picked it up here? The Batriders now have it once again. So, yeah, that's what I was talking about is, excuse me, getting those kills up from the Batrider pickoffs, and that's exactly what happened. They got a 2-fer, so good for Team Tinker, but still Naga is just getting out of hand.
Quakefa hanging out near the Roche pit. Looks like Alliance with everyone back up, ready to lock and load and take another shot at things. Taking a look at some of the cooldowns. We can see all the ultimates are available right now for Team Tinker. For Alliance, same is true. The Song of the Siren, as you mentioned, level 16, 60-second cooldown. Has it ready all the time. To the south, Quakefa's actually using Firefly already. And here we go. Quakefa engages, grabs out Misery, but Chessie comes in, pops his own BKB. He's going to last this out as long as he can. Mystic Flare a little bit off, but beautiful Earth Splitter. Caught 3 of them, and now they're all scattering. Bulba lays down the Macro Pyre and the Ice Path. In the meantime, EGM swaps Pycat, and the Brew Earth Spirit is going to dive and, yeah, die, actually. Ends up killing himself, trying to run out of that fight. That's another win for Team Tinker, and it looked like Alliance on the back of a well-placed ultimate from Admiral Bulldog was going to be able to turn that fight in their favor after Quakefa lassoed Misery. Instead, turns out to be a 2-0. Well fought by Tinker.
They did lose the Pugna he bought back, and he didn't pop his BKB there. I think he definitely could have lived, but he didn't pop the BKB, bought back, didn't really make... Did he make anything out of it, actually? No, he didn't, so... They got the kill on Chessie regardless whether Sing Sing bought back or not, so... I mean, they still... Where's the gem going? The gem is just like playing hot potato, basically, with both teams. As I thought I saw it drop a bit, it is picked up yet again by the Bat. But again, the point still will remain, is that Naga is just getting out of control, and there's just really no counter to her at this point.
Well, for the moment, everything gonna settle out, at least a bit. Loda, don't know if he has anything on the courier. He does not, only the gems, so not a ton of gold for him to bank on. Still, he's quite large. Selling the bottle and the Aqualay, I'll put him at 6 slotted. And the heart with the Manta Style and the Radiance just makes him a terror to try to deal with. And yeah, we can see Pycat. I mean, he's hooked onto one of these delusions, but even so, still takes him a few seconds to burst that bad boy down.
Yeah, and he does have BKB, which is good, but it's just simply not enough. And I mentioned last game, too, with Razor and his ulti fighting up against multiple targets and just minions and illusions and all that jazz. And same thing kind of goes here for Loda, as I missed a kill, but oh boy.
Double kill as they catch out, too. Catch the Bat and the Pugna and burst them down quickly. That's going to be a wave pushing with them as well. Here comes Loda in using the bots. This is going to be tier 2, if not tier 3 as well. Pugna does not have buyback. He used it in that fight, as you had mentioned, made nothing of it, and now 4 minutes until he can buy back. The Bat, on the other hand, does have buyback, but without the Pugna, what do they have? They have a Razor, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Bulba's been playing well in the Jakiro, but there's only so much he can do. These heroes, especially Loda, are just so tanky, and the damage output is getting pretty high. They're going to wait this out, wait for another wave, then probably look to re-engage. Nope, never mind.
They could even look to Roshan right now. There's an illusion rune for Naga. It's like Christmas comes early here for Loda. As now he's got lots of illusions to work with. Pops the illusion rune. They're not going to pop any other illusions. Yeah, he needs to back away so they don't die to Roshan. There is one illusion. Could maybe even pop the Manta if he wants to, but we'll save that for now, as this should be an easy Roshan. Or do they want to fight? Maybe they want to fight.
They're coming down like they want to. All those illusions. Look at the burn damage and what it's doing to Bulba and EGM right now. They can't do anything to that. And yeah, they're just going to spread this like a protective net. This is like a minefield, except you slowly burn to death instead of having your arms blown off.
Yeah, in the meantime, Loda's also cutting creep waves up top with one of the illusions he got. So, yeah, this is just so much farm. So much friggin' farm on Loda.
Yeah, you could say that. 23K overall net worth. The death of Roche puts him 9K ahead of the most farmed hero on the side of Team Tinker. That is Pycat. And once again, Pycat, I mean, I look at his items, and it feels like he should have been dominant at some point. But 3, 5, and 5. His impact has just been 0.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a lot of CS, and I still think this game in general is similar to the first one. I think it goes back to just being outdrafted. Personally, they can only do so much with the heroes that they have provided, especially up against a Naga that had free farm safely and free farm uncontested. It's not like they smoke ganked and went bottom and tried to catch him out. It's hard to do with a Jakiro, to be honest. Like if Jakiro was like even AA or I don't know, something that's you could try it with Jakiro where they didn't try it. I wouldn't try it personally, but that's just a drafting issue right there. They didn't. Basically, the point is Loda got free farm, and they can't do anything against the Naga with free farm. So why let Loda get free farm? Like it needed to be something else happening in that bottom lane.
Oh, Misery got life drain. Mystic Flare, unfortunately, does nothing through the BKB. Loda's right there with him. There's the ensnare through the Magic community. Bulldog's right there. Earth Splitter not going to be on the mark, but it doesn't matter as Chessie converges as well and secures the kill. So Razor now down for 71 seconds, and that will be not a full 71, as he does have buyback if he happens to want it. They are a bit far out from the tier 3s, though, so we'll see how quickly and how fervently they decide to press this.
Loda has another 5K gold up onto him, too. Bought the Manta not too long ago, and as you say, a lot critical mass, he's definitely approaching that. As, yeah, I just don't know what else they can do, and yeah, I'm out of words here for Team Tinker. they have to fight and get a pick off with Batrider ulti and sit behind with a Pugna Ward, but honestly, the Pugna Ward's like it's great and all, but it's not really. Oh, here actually as the bat is caught, Koikfa does get off the BKB.
Yep. Ensnare goes through it, though. They're going to try to follow it up. There's a life drain on the Loda. He is able to get out of range. In the meantime, BKB's going off on both sides. Here comes Bulldog right in. Sing Sing swapped out. EGM buying him time. They're trying to drain down Chessie. Chessie does have the Aegis, so he's going to be happy to just be a frontliner eating all of these abilities. Uses his own BKB, surprisingly. Thought he would have waited till after the Aegis was popped. A nice stomp as it catches two and just quiets the field and buys them time to set and be ready. Ice Path is there, but the Flame Strike knocks them, Flame Break knocks them both out of it. There's the split out of Brewmaster in the meantime. Bat tossed into the air. Pycat can do nothing but look on. He just has so little damage. Moving in, and just look at him, especially. There's another stomp that catches Sing and Pycat, while the rest of his team just tears away at these racks. And Chessie now reassembles. Here comes the lasso, but yeah, Koikfa's going to end up dead because of it. Bulldog, tanky as he is, just can't be brought down. Pycat uses his BKB. Chessie back up and ready to fight if needs be. Sing Sing doing all he can with that scepter, but now caught from behind with telekinesis. Another good swap from EGM. That'll keep him alive at least a little bit longer, but Lotus back there as well. And yeah, trying to just life drain him, unfortunately. Flame Break is there, and Pycat burning to death in the face of those illusions. So another big win, and what could be the back-breaking win for Alliance as they take this Rax, and they will rotate to mid now.
Yeah, and after, quite honestly, after having not the greatest performances in the last month or so with their new lineup plus a stand-in, with Chessie and Misery and then Key in place of Ake, they're actually performing quite well. And yep, there's the GG coming out from Team Tinker, so it will be a 2-0 lead in favor of Alliance here, and yeah, on the back of some very great drafting from Loda. I'm assuming he drafted. It could have been someone else, but I'm just saying that because he's in the blue position. On the back of great drafting from Loda, I think Alliance is looking pretty happy coming into Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, just one victory away now from bouncing Team Tinker out of this tournament entirely. Very impressive play out of them for the second game in a row. And now Tinker, man, they're in this unfortunate place where they have to win 3 in a row against a team that has just beaten them twice. It's tough to get down like this in a best of 5.
It is. I know these players are better than it though, and I think they just need to reevaluate the draft completely. They went for kind of similar the same thing in both games, and I think they just need to change it up completely. Go with a different strat and try to catch Alliance off guard, because the way they're playing and the way they're drafting right now is not working against Alliance at this moment. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. There's definitely room for improvement, but yep, I'm sure that we can get some good games out of them.
We'll see if Tinker's up to the task. They got to win the next one, then they got to win 2 more if they want to stay alive. It is a single elimination tournament, the NVIDIA Stream24 Invitational. Thanks so much for being a part of the broadcast, guys. I'm AC, that's Trouf. Make sure you take a look at all of the content going on Stream24 right now. It's a 24-hour celebration of PC gaming spanning the globe. Obviously, most of you are here for Dota, but there's a lot going on during our downtime, in between series, whatever else. I highly, highly recommend you check it out. It's just a lot of awesome stuff for people who love the culture of gaming and love the culture of live streaming and competitive sports, esports as well. Again, I'm AC and Trouf. You can find us on Twitter at AC, at AYESEE, and at TroufDota, TRALFDOTA. Game 3 on the way. Can Tinker keep themselves alive in this series, or will be a total whitewash, a goose egg laid on them by Alliance? We'll find out. Just stick with us. We'll be right back.